NBC 6 News at 6 starts right now.
And can the president convince those who are against his agenda to get behind him?
And will he be able to do what he promises to get lawmakers to work together and heal divisions with our allies? NBC 6 anchor Michael Williams has been covering the presidential inauguration from our nation's capital. Michael, what was the feeling in Washington today?
The feeling protests that were loud and impassioned near the Capitol, where the president took his second oath of office, was one largely of celebration, despite those protests, which were vocal but fleeting for the most part. But the big thing here that you noticed today was the sharp difference in the world and in the president we now encounter. 4 years ago, at his first inaugural, President Bush talked largely of domestic issues, education and opportunity for Americans at home. 9/11 and war in Iraq has changed all that. We now have a war president whose message today largely was aimed at the wider world. The echo of American anthems and the march of American history across a capital city dusted with snow and blanketed in security. Inauguration Day, as the proud father and former president and the Florida governor and brother, Jeb, gathered to watch a political family dynasty move forward.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
Before the nation, President George Bush addressed the world. An inaugural speech that repeatedly stressed the theme that American security depends on liberty and freedom being extended across the globe. Iraq and the war on terror not specifically mentioned, but the message was clear.
America in this young century proclaims liberty throughout all the world and to all the inhabitants thereof. Renewed in our strength, tested but not weary, we are ready for the greatest achievements in the history of freedom.
On this cold Washington day, one of the hottest tickets in town was to Pennsylvania Avenue and the 1.5-mile inaugural parade from the Capitol to the White House. The president and First Lady walked part of the way and then retreated to a heated presidential booth to watch the festivities. That may be the parade route, but this is the view all too many people are getting in Washington today. Barricades everywhere, closed streets, reminders of plenty of post-9/11 security worries.
I wanted to be in the parade because I want to show my patriotism by protesting this fallacious war that we're in.
In the long term, I think it's really going to pan out and to show that he was right in the decision that he made.
Going into Iraq.
Exactly.
Symbolism, pageantry, and tradition on display as the nation and its 43rd president look to the promises and challenges ahead. So many promises and yet so many challenges as well. The need, as the president said, for political healing at home, the budget and budget deficits, Social Security, Medicare, and abroad, trying to soothe allies who did not agree and do not agree with the ongoing war in Iraq, and trying to tame the ongoing terrorist threat. A huge, huge agenda for President George Bush. But tonight, at least, that sets aside for a few more hours as the inaugural balls get underway in Washington, 9 of them, including one at 7 o'clock, the big one, the Constitution Ball, and a Miami recording artist, 19-year-old Ana Cristina, the first Hispanic to ever sing the Star-Spangled Banner at this huge event, will be there to perform for the president and first family. She talked to us earlier today.
You know, I feel so much for my country, and it's so patriotic, and I know that it's a beautiful moment because the national anthem is such a special song. It's solemn yet majestic, and it represents liberty for all of us.
And a special resonance for Ana Cristina from Miami. Her family fled Castro in the early 1960s. And tonight, she'll sing the Star-Spangled Banner for President Bush and the First Lady, the Vice President, and his wife, and a national and world audience as well. We'll have her story at 11 and continuing coverage of this 55th inaugural. I'm Michael Williams reporting from Capitol Hill Live for NBC 6.
Michael, thank you, and all the emotions that'll be surrounding that young 19-year-old. And after all of today's pomp and circumstance, some of you may be wondering how much did all of it cost? Well, despite criticisms that President Bush was excessively spending money on festivities for his second inauguration, a review of the cost of past inauguration shows President Bush's ceremony cost less than President Clinton's second in 1997. That second ceremony cost about $42 million, which is about 25% more than Mr. Bush. For everything inauguration, all you need to do is log on to NBC6.net. There you'll find images of the day's events, the president's speech, and much more.